Well, that's fucked up. Hang on. What done happened to my green screen? Hang on. Your car just broke down, dude. That's not good. Are you alright? Are you in the middle of nowhere? Rob the model, come pick you up. That's weird. Oh well. Spooky. We'll start in a sec. He is coming for you. That's right, child.
I wish my fucking foot would go right through your skull.
It's true.
I can't help but be racist. It's true.
No offense,
All right.
Jaffe, but that's bullshit.
All right. Welcome, my delightful friends. The chat should not be members only right now. Are you guys telling me it's members only? I don't think it is. Let me double check. No, I don't think it's members only at the moment. I think it's trust me. There'll be some members only stuff coming up tomorrow, but I'm going to keep this particular chat on this particular show that I'm now calling Gabbing Games Live is going to be free for everybody to chat. All right. Fellas, Filettis, welcome. Let's start again for the edit. Here we go. Let's get a little soundbite going in here.
No offense, David Jaffe, but that's bullshit.
Indeed. Welcome to Gabbing Games. This is it's not a Halloween show, but it's Halloween season. It's kicked in October. I'm so excited. I love this season. I love the whole holiday season. I love the October and the Thanksgiving and the Christmas and the Hanukkah and all that good stuff and the New Year's. I don't even like New Year's, honestly. New Year's is my least favorite, but I love the three big ones coming down the line. So I'm excited. I hope you're excited too. It's great time of the year. We got great horror games coming up. Speaking of which, what am I seeing? Who predicted it? Well, to be fair, it's not an official review, but that should be more than enough for you. If you take a look at right now, there are no Until Dawn reviews that are available. It's coming out in less than 24 hours. Tonight at midnight, you will be able to see the reviews for Silent Hill 2. Although the first one from Famitsu has leaked, which was very positive. It wasn't like Game of the Year positive, but it was like an 84, 85 collectively. Until Dawn, the only thing I've seen on Until Dawn right now, the remake, is somebody was tweeting that it was not, somebody said it was like really unstable and the frame rate was really shitty and there's lots of bugs and stuff. It wouldn't surprise me. When you have a game, even if it's a remake, that is awesome, you don't tend to keep it from the reviewers because they help you build the word of mouth. So I'm not sure what's going on with that. But anyway, it is what it is. Yeah, Morgan says Silent Hill got a 35 out of 40 over on Famitsu. So if you're looking forward to that, and I am, that's pretty good. It might be a emerging from the flames like a phoenix for Bloober Team, which has been super miss way more than they've been hit. They've been hit one or two times with the original Layers of Fear. And then some people would tell you that the game they made, I think it was set on what was it, a satellite game or sci-fi game? I haven't played that. Was pretty good, but everything else I have found quite not good. Am I against remasters for Game of the Year, says Chain Whippin'? No. I mean, well, again, no. But you have to understand that, it depends how you define Game of the Year, right? Game of the Year is such a marketing term. And I don't mean that like you're using it that way and shame on you, but I mean that like even the Oscars were created as a marketing tool by the studios to get more people to come out and see the movies. So the idea that there's actually a Game of the Year and you can say this gets to be judged and this doesn't, I think it totally depends on the purpose of that particular Game of the Year definition you're using. If I were to say the definition I use is what is the game that I enjoyed the most during a year, then I would absolutely say remasters and remakes can count. I would even say games that came out previously that are still updating can count. But if you're just talking about, you want it to celebrate the most forward. Even that I was going to say forward technology, forward thinking, but a remaster can be that. So, it's a good point. If Metaphor comes out at the same quality of the demo, that's my Game of the Year, says Morgan. Well, I mean, to be fair, and I have been playing that more than I thought I would. To be fair on this game, Metaphor, is it Fantasio from some of the Persona guys? It's like a 4 and 5 hour demo. Right. So if some could argue that the demo is Game of the Year, one of my Game of the Years from a few years back was the demo of Unpacking. Now I will say the final version, which I enjoyed, did not thrill me like the demo did. But yeah, so Metaphor Refantasio, I didn't think I would play it as much as I would, not because I didn't like it or anything, but just because I was like, well, it's probably not my kind of game. I don't have a lot of time. But I'm drawn back to it, even though there's something really weird about the scale, at least the beginning where you're running through this castle. You're running through this castle and you and your buddies, well, there's a fairy that's tiny, but you and your buddy who's taller than you are running through this castle, and it's like, what? It's like you're like little Lilliputian people. Like the scale of the castle is off with the people, but it's still really, really cool. And this is the, I don't go in for special editions. This is a $150 special edition, but I did bring it up because it's pretty nice. You get a really beautiful art book. You get actual, not analog soundtracks. They're digital, but you get discs for soundtracks, I believe. You get stickers, you get a nice case. And then there's like the Atlas brand 35th history book, which is kind of funny because, this is probably like, we got 80,000 of those we printed for, Comic-Con or something. We got a bunch left over. Just throw them in there. Let's add some value. They'll put anything in here. But that said, though, I think this is a pretty neat one. And then you get this little acrylic stand, whatever. But yeah, it's Morgan, I'm not surprised. Morgan says she has the collector's edition pre-ordered. I mean, $150 though. There's no fucking way I'm spending that on that. But I have enjoyed what I've played so far of the game. Mutimo, you're saying that you miss the. All I can tell you, if people are saying they miss the notifications for this, and you're not on the Discord where people get them over there, all I can say is you have to go. Not just to YouTube and say, I want notifications. I want all notifications. I don't want them personalized. Just give them all to me. But then a lot of times you have to go to your phone and you have to say, I'll accept these notifications. It's a real fucking pain in the ass, but it is what it is. So if you don't want to miss them, look at this green screen. You know what it is? I fucked around earlier today with the title to make it red, which didn't take more than 5 seconds. But I guess the sliders there took over the sliders here, and it kind of fucked me up. So I apologize about that. Okay. Is game director a fancy way of saying lead game designers? Interesting question, Johnny. I mean, there are no official titles in the industry. It's not like there are unions and stuff in movies where it's very specific what this role does. But what I will say is not the way I do it. When I did God of War, I was the lead game designer and I was the game director. Hello, Inner Cheat Code. Chat does work. But now with games getting so big, and really what I should have done, which I didn't, and I should have. I should have been the game director and creative director of Drawn to Death, but I should have brought in somebody who had a lot more experience and frankly a lot more passion and love for multiplayer shooters to be the game director. And that person still would have reported into me because there is a vision for how I want the game to play. But I didn't have the experience, knowledge, passion, tenacity to really understand that we weren't as good as it needed to be because it's just not my genre. And part of the reason I wanted to make that game was because I had things to say about the genre that I wanted to do different. I wanted to change. I wanted to bring things to shooters, which was the reason it wasn't my genre, because I didn't see games doing those things. So I still would have wanted to sort of, quote, lord over the vision, but to have somebody there day in, day out, obsessing over the auto aiming, auto targeting for control, or obsessing over, the floatiness of the characters, which they in hindsight, they were way too floaty. But we just kind of got used to it and no one ever complained and, stuff like that. So there is a big difference, and more, Johnny, you're getting even more specialized. You're getting game director, you're getting creative lead, you're getting narrative lead. There's like 6 or 7 of those, but I still think in most companies, they all kind of, report into a singular vision, or at least they should. Otherwise you're going to get a nightmare. Am I going to any Padres games? Maybe. I went to one last year. I had a great time. Morgan says we have combat directors now too. We had those on God of War actually. Are the Padres doing well? I haven't really been following them, but I know a couple years back they almost won it all, but we didn't. I go every now and then, and I always enjoy going to those games. Scream Bleed Die Rot says, wonderful name. Your parents must have loved you very much, sir. He says, yeah, but you would have fought them all the time and made their life hell. Yeah, I would have, and vice versa. But, as long as you do it with respect and kindness, and you do it out of a place of love for the product, that's what you want. I've said this many times that the most successful things I've ever worked on are when I butted heads with people. And I don't mean that like it was a nightmare, although sometimes it was, because I wasn't mature enough and wise enough to understand the process as well as I do now. But you want passionate people pushing on you and vice versa. It's not even tough love, Christian. It doesn't have to be tough love. It's just got to be love. It's got to be passion. And, in that, you end up, the best stuff tends to rise to the top. Brad Glasgow says my game was just too woke. I mean, funnily enough, though, Bradley, I did have Sony say that to me after we shipped, and we were all sitting there doing kind of a post-mortem in Scott Rohde's office and going, what do we think happened? Because, there was a sense of this was going to work. And there was a consensus. There were some really high up people that were claiming that the game itself was actually so anti-woke. And that's when a lot of that stuff in journalism was starting to kind of creep up, that even though the game under the hood was very sweet, and a very kind game, a lot of the journalists just saw the surface and were like, this thing is offensive and let's hate on it, blah, blah, blah. Is Silent Hill 2 coming to GeForce Now? I have no idea, Daniel, but I really hope so. I haven't heard. Dialgon says, you were right, Jaffe. Silent Hill 2 is going to be amazing, and Until Dawn is trash. They say Until Dawn remake is worse than the original. Well, the only thing I've seen about what you're saying, and I'm not saying you're wrong on this, I just don't think that they have actually released anything official, is I saw somewhere someone was saying that a guy tweeted who had access to the game that it was very buggy. It was locked at 30 frames per second, and it was not really worth anyone's time. But I don't know if that was just someone's personal opinion or if that was an actual review. But it does seem that way. The fact that, again, like I said at the top of the show, we're sitting here and there are no reviews for a game that comes out in less than 24 hours is troubling. And what's cool, though, is what's exciting, and I'll probably be up at midnight anyway tonight, so I'm looking forward to seeing the Silent Hill 2 review embargo go away. Because if it's really good or 85 or whatnot, I may actually say, fuck it. I'm going to just pre-order it so I can play it a couple days early. So I'm looking forward to it. Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. We're going to be all over the place today, but that's what I've decided the live show is. I'm not going to worry about being all, the buttoned up show's the pre-recorded show. I've had to embrace that theory. And if you're curious what Gabbin' and Games Live is, I've been really struggling with this. And, I love doing the live shows like this, and I love doing them often. But the reason they're so scattershot, and the reason I think you'll start seeing them more frequently, is I love doing them in the morning, but in the morning I need a lot of time to prepare. And by the time I'm prepared, it's 3:00. I'm tired. My brain's not in it as much. And so I'm going to start doing more frequent shows like this. But if you tune into them, you have to accept they're going to be scattershot. They're going to be all over the place. We're going to jump and move, and you're going to be like, this is either good or bad for you, depending on what you like. And then a couple times a week, I'll put out a proper Gabbin' and Games that's pre-recorded. That'll be more thoughtful and paced and blah, blah, blah. So anyway, and here's an example of that. Hello, Treeman Games. Oh, Treeman Games. Oh my God. Hang on. He just sent me a link, but I don't know what it is. Treeman Games. Are you, I think I'm not on on Twitter right now. Let me go over there. He just sent me a link. I want to see what this is. But this guy, I believe, is the guy who makes the phenomenal, are they the what do you call them? The driving games. But let me see what he sent me. Hang on. I don't even know how to get that link, unfortunately, because it's not sent to me. Let me see if I can find a way to get this. Fuck. I can't get it, man. He did these great driving games on mobile. I don't know if they're anywhere else. Yeah, the Paco series, man. Oh, it's so fun. It's these top-down or isometric view games. Here, I'll show you. Yeah, that's him. I don't know where you can play them other than Apple TV, and on my Apple on your iPhone, you can probably play them everywhere, but that's where I've played them. But it's on Steam too. Hang on, let me turn the volume down one sec. But they are, they're car chase games basically. And I love car chases. I love them in the movies. I love them in video games. And even though I appreciate that this particular perspective isn't as commercial as Over the Shoulder, this is the absolute best perspective for a car chase game. It's just delightful, man, and I love these games. And so it's good to see you, buddy. I don't know what you just sent me. Oh, okay. So there's a Search Paco Caravan demo on Steam. All right, so this is their newest game, or his newest game. I don't know how many people you guys work with. Let's go. Okay, most are on Steam. So let's go to Paco Caravan. Here we go. I have no idea what this game is. This is the first I'm hearing about it. So let's go big. Let's watch the trailer. Here's the premiere trailer, at least for Gabbin' and Games of this. Let's watch this and we'll talk about it. Then if it sucks, we'll make fun of it to his face. Here we go. Oh, that's cool. So it's like Snake, but oh, fun. Okay. Oh, cool. That's cool, man. I'll get it today, man. I want to play this. Nice. That's cool. All right, I like it. I'll pick it up later today. Thank you for the heads up. That's over on Steam right now. I don't know, is it coming to any other, is it coming to console yet, or you don't know yet, or mobile or whatnot, but it looks fun. Looks fun. Hello, Blake's View. Good to see you. How are you, buddy? Wait, is Blake's View Blake? Blake's View is Blake. Blake was just in a boxing match recently. He got mad at me on the Discord. He said, "Why don't you come to my boxing match?" I'm like, I don't. And that'll let me win. I don't fucking know. But let me know how you did. Congratulations. It takes a lot of guts to step into a ring. With I think they were like junior high kids, but still, it takes a lot of guts. Okay. Did the Steam just froze? I don't think so. Hope not. Let me know. Are we still live? Are we still here? Are we still live? What's going on? Okay, are we back? Are we back? You guys are saying it froze? Am I back? We're still live? Okay, cool. Everybody refresh. Maybe you should refresh. Okay, it's back. Yeah, refresh. All right. People in the chat, you guys are really good people. But okay, there's a point where you have to start to question maybe the issue is you, meaning me. Because, the fact of the matter is, and this is just kind of, the way it goes, but the stats do show that the majority of corporate games, like big budget... Okay, it's freezing again? OBS is not giving me any warnings or anything. It's saying it's fine. All right, so are you basically saying that we're freezing a lot or no? Are we okay? All right, well, let me know. We'll keep going, but if it freezes again, I'll reset it. But weird. Okay, but Blake says he was boxing. He says, we didn't hear any of what you just said. I'm sad you didn't make it to the match. I wanted to be at the live show, but was in Illinois. Well, I mean, I don't really leave the house unless I have to, Blake. But did you win or did you lose? What I said was I was just kind of making fun of you, is all. But no, I mean, it takes a lot of guts to step into a ring, and I think that's pretty cool. So, but how'd you do? Did you win? Did you lose? But the people who were kind of mocking the women or the woman, the stats do show that gamers of console games do tend to choose male characters when they're men. Like, meaning if you're a guy, the majority of you will pick dudes to play as. I've never done that. I've always liked to pick the female characters to play in video games. Hello, Rotten Tanuki. Good to see you, buddy. But, and so you can say that because of that stat, maybe it's a mistake to make Ghost Shima 2 a female character. But I can tell you, for me, I don't care. And B, kind of like Chechi in the chat says, I always play a female because I'd rather look at a female for 50 hours. That's true. I would as well. But regardless of that, it's like, it's weird that it really does seem to bother people. I don't, what does it matter? If the game is actually what you call woke, and again, that's a very weird term these days because it means different things to different people. But if it's what you call woke and you consider woke a bad thing, okay, cool. But are you saying all it takes is putting a woman in the game and that's a non-starter for you? Doesn't that seem a little weird to you? It seems weird to me. Anyway. Okay. The surveys have shown it's much more important for women to play women than it is for men to play men. I haven't seen those surveys. The only surveys I've seen are things like where Capcom comes out and says 85% of people in Resident Evil 2 remake chose whatever Chris over what's her name, Claire, if I'm remembering correctly. Milk says people don't hate female characters unless they're brain dead. We hate forced characters that tend to be poorly written. Sure, but that is one of those things where your mileage will vary, and there's nothing that they showed, for example, in Ghost of Yeti or whatever they're calling it, that would suggest it is a poorly written character. Sucker Punch has not earned your critique or your suspicion in that area over the games they've made over the decades. So, I hear you, but at the same time, it's like, what? Nothing in that game was like that, was it? Okay. All right. Let's move forward. Ghost of Yeti, I don't know what it's called. By the way, I've just been wanting to show this off real quick. This game, I'm not going to play it with audio because I want to talk over it, but this game is, this has been on my wish list forever, and they just put out a new trailer. It's look at this, look how cool. Now again, just because a game looks cool doesn't mean that it's going to be cool. It kind of looks like it's one of those Little Nightmare style games, but you play this cute little cat. But look how cool that looks. I mean, there's a lot of games that look cool and you're like, that's all they got going for them. And after about 20 minutes, you're like, okay, I'm done. But isn't that neat? Looking, the whole game looks this way. It's like a dark version of, Ray Harryhausen stop motion shit. I love it. I fucking love it. Can you explain, Mick says why it's such a big deal? Can't we just go back in time and have another adventure with Jen? Isn't that the point of the Ghost title? I don't know. Maybe I mean, here's what I would say about Tsushima. And Tsushima is one of my favorite first party games of the last 10 years. I'm delighted by it. But Jin Sakai was fine in that game, but I don't think there was anything all that unique or special about him. And maybe in terms of as a character design, it wasn't like he was really interesting or cool looking or had this cool gimmick. He was just dude. And so I know that they were saying that they wanted to move it up into the future just because they could have more conceptual variety of the landscapes and whatnot. And look, man, you see how much of it is people, just being annoyingly full of shit and how much of it's genuine. But you see, I'm sure it depends on the situation, but you see all these people getting upset with Ubisoft about, oh, well, that's not accurate of Assassin's Creed Shadows. And so maybe they're like, okay, well, if we want to have a snow level, or if we want to have this kind of warrior that was historically in this period of the Japanese period, historical period, well, we can't give that to Jin Sakai, and we certainly can't do that on Tsushima because that's not what the geography dictates, right? I mean, who knows? What I would like is, I would like for us all to be in a world where this is what we say. That we say, boy, wasn't Ghost of Tsushima one of the best first-party games? And Sly Cooper was a great character in a great game. And it wasn't for me, but a lot of people adored the Infamous series. What's that have in common? Oh, Sucker Punch. You know what? They've earned our lack of suspicion. It doesn't mean they've earned your purchase. You still should wait and see. And they did put out a trailer, and a part of the trailer is for you to judge it. But have they really done anything in that? We're not talking about the Concord trailer. We're talking about, a trailer that looked pretty fucking good. And, give these guys a little bit of if they hang themselves with the rope you give them, that's one thing, but they haven't earned that. They're one of the great, consistent studios out there. And, I just don't get it. Hey, that's a good point, Jonathan, and I don't disagree. I mean, okay, so here's what he says, why not just let the player create their own character? Then everyone's happy. Here's the deal. I think if you're talking games like this that you're seeing on your screen, as for what is it? It's called, The Spirit of the Samurai is what it's called. If you are talking about small teams, there's a vision for the game, it makes sense for it to be a specific character, blah, blah, blah. I think you're right. Or I think you're wrong. I think it should be up to the creators. But I do think that when, at this point, when you are talking about games that have these absolutely insane budgets, I don't think you're wrong. The fact of the matter is that if it turns out that you can trace, and Pachter seems to think you can, I don't know if he's right or wrong on this, but if you can trace the failure of certain games like Star Wars Outlaws to what he called as like sort of an incel revolt of them bagging on Ubisoft, true, not true, whatever. But if you can actually show that as a thing, and you're these companies going, holy shit, we're spending 200 to 400 in some cases, we're spending a lot of money on these things. I don't think you're wrong, because the fan base has not shown en masse the ability to discern the difference between a really good female character, like the character in Star Wars Outlaws. I'm sorry that she doesn't appeal to the male gaze as much as you would like. I get that. Star Wars females rarely have, with the exception of the slave Leia scene or scenes. It wasn't like Leia was that most of the movies. But fundamentally speaking, though, she's a really good character. She's funny. She's likable. She's well written. But, you wouldn't know it because most people who bitch about it complain they haven't actually played the thing. But what I'm saying, though, is if the audience, if Pachter's right, and this kind of anything that is even the whiff of woke, even if it may not be, pushes away a meaningful percent of the audience, then you know what? I think you're right, Jonathan. Give everybody a chance to make their own characters once a budget hits a certain level. And yeah, I know we think this is art, but end of the day, it's a business as well. And the customers don't show up for art at that budget. They just want what they think they want, even if they don't really know what they're complaining about some of the time. So, I don't think you're wrong. I don't think you're wrong at all. I think it's less about gender and more about liking the protagonist, says Frank. Thank you, buddy. 45 months as a member. Why can't you guys be more like your brother Frank? Look at him showing up month after month with the ducats and saying, Jaffe, I like the shows. I like what you do. I like how you look. I like how you tuck me. Oh, that's our little secret. He says, look, it's less about gender and more about liking the protagonist. Everybody went nuts when Metal Gear Solid changed from Snake. People just enjoy certain characters. There is some truth to that. But in the case of Jin Sakai and this new protagonist, I don't think anyone has, no one's raving about Jin Sakai. No one's dressing up this Halloween as Jin Sakai. So you don't get to kind of paint Jin Sakai as Solid Snake. But you have a point. If you're talking about a great beloved character and you bought the sequel or you're excited about the sequel for that, then sure, you're absolutely right. Grape King says, we love Jin. Don't say we, say you, because you don't have the stats to back that up. You don't have the action figure sales of the Jin Sakai toys, which I don't know if they're out yet, so that's probably why. You can't tell me that Halloween Jin Sakai homemade costumes were the rage the year the game came out. You just can't. And that's not to suggest that he's not a good character. I'm just saying that if you're gonna paint it that way, which is great, then you should do it with the character where you can back it up with, like, yeah, you're right. No, you're talking about Astrobot. People love that little Astrobot, right? You don't have that data. Hey, Jonathan, you already do support the show. You goddamn right, buddy. Oh, I know you do. Thank you, bud. 46 months he's been supporting the show. And I appreciate that, buddy. Thank you. Who do people think, says JB, make these games? They probably look like the people they supposedly hate. Wait. Who makes the games? People who make them, look like the people they I don't know what you're saying, sir, ma'am. I have no idea what you're talking about. Okay, but I agree with Morgan. It says, y'all fuckers are weird. You're telling me you won't be taking the lady to the hot springs to look at her naked butt? Just shut up. I agree. I think a lot of, I don't know. It is what it is. It is what it is. Play it, don't play it. I mean, seriously, if you're not going to play, then we're going to move on. But if you're not going to play the next great game, assuming it's a great game. Hang on. Hey, Cal. What's he barking at?
To deliver medication. Question mark?
Really?
Yes.
All right, I'll be right back, you guys. All right, sorry about that. Had to sign for package. But anyway, whatever it is, do what you want with it. Don't play. I mean, seriously, think about what you'd miss out by not playing the Sucker Punch game. Just because it's got a lady in it. That's so weird, man. Listen to this. Let's move on though. This is something. Now this is something, and we're gonna get back to games, but I got to show you this because this is still pretty cool. And awful and cool. I mean, the fact that anybody's shooting missiles at anybody's awful. But have you seen this? And I haven't seen this debunked yet. And this is not UFOs or anything, although maybe it is. But it probably isn't. This is missiles coming in from Iran. And as you probably know by now, none of the missiles hit, I think except one, which was just shrapnel, because Israel was able to shoot them all down. And I've always wondered, what does America have? I think, watch this. This is some fucking ship flying around. You'll see it in a minute when I unfreeze it. This is a ship flying around above Israel when those missiles were coming in. And I want you to watch this because these things look to be anti-missile. I don't know what the fuck they are. Look at this. Watch this. Okay, so these, as you'll see, it has a bunch of these clusters. And it's basically playing missile command, and over time it loses those clusters. See the triangle, like the Phoenix lights, and now it's down to 3. That's probably American tech right there, is what we're looking at. And it's over there protecting Israel, because and this is insane that you can fucking put this in the fucking air and shoot these fucking things down. I know that Israel's been doing it from the ground. I've never seen anybody do it from the air. Like a goddamn missile command game. Isn't that something? Crazy, man. Crazy. All right, anyway, I wanted to show that. I wanted to see if you guys had seen this. Israel has had this for a long time. Well, they've had the Iron Dome. I have not seen it in the sky, though. I have not seen this. I don't think anyone has seen this. This is pretty... And if you guys remember the Phoenix lights... which looked exactly, the government said, oh no, those are just flares falling in a pattern. But no, it looked exactly like that triangle right there. And I remember being at E3 in Atlanta, and we were in a bar watching this. It was me and Mike Yam of Warhawk and Jetmoto, and then Alan Becker, who ran Sony and then ran Japan Sony for a while. Everybody was seeing these lights, and it looks just like it. It looks just like it. So that's some shit, man. That's some really fucking cool shit. But I told you this show is going to be all over the place. Let me do one more UFO thing real quick. Can I do one more UFO thing real quick? This is pretty cool. This is pretty cool. And then we'll move back to games, I promise. But I was reading this book called The Little Book of Aliens, okay? I know, we'll get to games. But how can you love games and not love alien UFO stuff? I mean, don't they go hand in hand? Really, Bukaki? Bukaki says, my understanding of missile defense systems is so rudimentary, it's quite hilarious. Ha ha ha. What's rudimentary about it? You've never seen that shit either. I understand that we have, that Israel has the Iron Dome, but I have not seen those particular anti-ballistic missile defense systems in the sky. That's all I'm saying. And I don't think you have either. You've seen them launched from the ground. This is new to us, anyway. I miss Art Bell too, baby. Listen, Little Book of Aliens. I want to bring this up. See, Morgan, that's the mistake. We're not going to go. Morgan says they should stop. Religion is a waste of time. If you actually think these wars are about religion, you are sorely mistaken. Religion is what they use to motivate people to fight their wars, but it's got nothing to do with religion. It's got everything to do with power and money, and money is power. And so, no, this is not. Religion has never been about what it says it's about when it comes to when they use it for wars. Anyway, this book, The Little Book of Aliens, written by an astrophysicist, is really, really good. And his whole thesis is that we are probably not going to find aliens in the Tic Tac, right? We're not going to find them in UAPs or congressional hearings. It's too difficult to move through space, blah, blah, blah. Maybe he's right, maybe he's wrong. Maybe moving through space is his own little thing, like he thinks it's literally normal physics versus quantum. Who knows? Who cares? Doesn't matter. The bigger point, though, is his whole thing is with James Webb, the James Webb telescope, what we're probably going to discover first are going to be signatures off planets of visual anomalies that would suggest some kind of civilization. And we may never be able to communicate with them because they're too far away. And lo and behold, what we are seeing now at the beginning of the summer, and then there have been a couple of recent classified James Webb telescope congressional hearings that they won't tell you what they were about. But apparently there have been 7 planets at the start of the summer that James Webb's looked at. And they didn't say, yes, there are planets there with life, but they said there is artificial light, or we think this is artificial light. That's the only explanation we have, meaning that something's there that is creating light that doesn't happen naturally, which is pretty fucking cool. It's pretty fucking cool. I dig that. I love that. I want to see this shit, man. I want this to happen. Okay. Let's move forward. Bukaki, that doesn't mean anything. He says, judging from our interaction just now, you don't understand much. Ha, ha, ha. Be specific. What am I missing about missile defense? I know this is a game show, but I'm just saying. I need specifics, baby. Dread XP Games. See, I told you we'd bring back to games. They got the Indie Horror Showcase. I will be live streaming it. It's just a video. But October 24th, these guys are a game developer and a publisher. And they're going to be they put out these lo-fi horror games, and they cover them on their site. And they also have a horror site, Dread Central. But I just want to give you a heads up. If you love indie horror, and I think indie horror games are probably my favorite genre of all time, I am super excited for this. And most of them will be things you probably don't want to play and you get bored after 5 minutes, but there's a gem or two at least in every one of these fucking things. What happened to Blumhouse Games, says JB? Not a thing. They're coming out with their first game, I think soon, called Fear the Spotlight. It might even be coming out this month. Fear the Spotlight. That is coming out. Let me give you a little heads up. Okay, well, no, the initial game came out in 22. They pulled it because Blumhouse wanted to really make it a big deal. So the actual game is supposed to be coming out, which is their first game. Oh, there's a demo for it now. Oh, okay. I'm getting that. You goddamn right. Hang on. Yeah, please. Thank you. When is this coming out? This will be out. Release date reveal. Oh, okay. It's coming out October 22nd. So any day. That's a Blumhouse game. Bulbo says, Jaffe, what are your thoughts on Assassin's Creed Shadows working on a co-op mode? Cool. I mean, interesting, but I mean, what? Right? I mean, because my understanding is, and it's very limited. It's just based, probably like Bukaki says, my missile defense views are limited. But based on just what I've watched on all the things they've released in their latest deep dive trailer, which wasn't that deep, but whatever, but it looks pretty good, is that it's not like you can jump between characters at any time. Always. There are certain sections where you're like, this mission's about to start, I want to be the ninja. This mission's about to start, which one do you want to be, the ninja or the samurai? And then there are some sections where you are like jumping between them in real time, even during a mission. So I don't know if they're basically going to create a bunch of missions that are just sort of standalone for co-op, or if you're going to be able to play the entire core game with 2 players at the same time, which, I mean, that seems like, unless they were planning it from the beginning, and maybe they were, that seems like a lot of work, and I wouldn't be surprised if that doesn't ship with it, but all right, Bukaki, thank you, buddy. We don't want multiplayer, says Zack. There's no way the numbers told them we want that. Please stop with the we. It's my pet peeve. Please stop with the we. No one knows. Just speak for yourself, because you don't know and I don't know. I don't know what people want. You don't either. Let's just kind of look at this one, though. Speaking of rumor, upcoming Assassin's Creed Hex will be the gayest Assassin's Creed yet. This game sounds awesome, by the way. This game is, I'm in, because I love this subject matter. And I love, I'm loving Agatha all along. I love Halloween and spooky shit. It's set during the Salem witch trials. Apparently it's a bunch of witches and witches covens, and a bunch of them are lesbians and shit. And then they said that, a new rumor claims the upcoming Assassin's Creed Hex will be the gayest Assassin's Creed ever. According to YouTuber Any Boo Boo, I don't know, and his Ubisoft insiders, the next Assassin's game is going to be super gay. I was told the next game, which is called Hex, Salem Witch Trials, being internally claimed to be the... God, just saying the same thing, writers. Jesus. I'm told that it only has a single female protagonist, and it's also the most fantastical Assassin's Creed yet, which is great. There will be a lot of mysticism, and we also have very striking visuals. It'll be an open world action game like the other ones, but from what I've told, it's the biggest departure yet for the series. My sources claim that Hex is very, very female power oriented, which does not mean gay, but in this case, he says it does. We are talking lots of lesbian relationships and female characters. It has witch covens and apparently very little masculine presence. Fine! Shut up! It's starting! Look! It's cool. Where in your brain are you not able to go, cool, a bunch of lesbian witches in the Salem witch trials? That sounds pretty cool. What's wrong with that? They're not, they're doing what you say. They're not taking a beloved character and turning them gay, right? It's a brand new group of characters. Now, again, if the game is like the Dustborn, where it's just like, and it doesn't sound like it's going to be, but if I told you there's a great fucking horror movie coming out about a coven of lesbian as fuck witches in Salem, I'd watch the fuck out of that. That sounds amazing. That sounds interesting. What's the matter with you? Come on now. The V-Raft, right? I get the reference, Warped. But what does this have to do with Assassin's Creed? Who knows? Who cares? Give it a minute. Assassin's Creed doesn't have anything to do. Assassin's Creed at this point, I mean, unless you're talking about the, if you're talking about the tech where you put the helmet on in the future and you go back to your ancestors, I don't know. Maybe because there was a coven of lesbian witches in the Salem witch trials and they're telling a story about it. Jesus. Gee, I have not seen The Substance, Ben Brody, but I hear it's excellent. I'm looking forward to seeing it. The Animus is what it's called. Yeah, they use the Animus to get the genetic memory of a witch. Big deal. Play the fuck out of that. Open your minds up, people. Stop being, what's the word? Stop being so bamboozled and hoodwinked. Okay. By the people trying to make the ducats off you. Right? Stop. No, if you got a real pot to piss in, cool. If it turns out, like we said, the Ghost Tsushima new character ends up being a terrible character, then jump on the hate train. You have every right. But good God Almighty, give it a minute. It sounds kind of cool. It's not that you have to stop having opinions, but have some opinions that have been, at least cooked in the oven for more than 5 minutes. All right. Again, I don't care where you come down on it. Come down wherever you want on it, but stop being used as the tools to make these grifters. They're not grifters. Grifters, I've been using the term wrong. A lot of people use the term wrong. But stop making these people their money. It'll make them work a little harder for it. Maybe I'm just jealous because, hell, if I could just sit in front of a camera and this is a terrible thing. It's awful. They're ruining everything. And the money just pours in. I mean, you're getting, taken for a ride, right? You get that, don't you? Jesus. Ubisoft has their IPs and mutates them until they no longer have any relationship with the original concept, says Max. Yeah, and they do that at their own peril. But you change or die, right? I mean, you have to. So you either end up God of War Ascension, which was not a bad game, but people were just tired of it, or you gotta kind of put it out there and try to keep it fresh. You got to reinvent it, man. Thank you, Travis, for pooping the can. 7 months. He's been a loyal, wonderful member of the Diet Soda Soldiers. We're going to war soon with the Pepsi Company, buddy. You better get ready. Enjoy your last few months of freedom because we're going to battle. But in the meantime, thank you for your support, buddy. All right. Thank you, Cooper Tonic, for being here. Cooper Tonic says, thank you, Jeff, for the great content. I appreciate that, buddy. Thank you, Kevin. Kevin says, wasn't Assassin's Creed original title Anal Assassin's Cock? Absolutely. Okay. Fuzzy says, no, they do not get it. The general IQ and media literacy and ability to engage in good faith is out the window. I know. But it makes me sad, man. Let me tell you something. Let's stick with games now. Thank you, Zack. 40 months. We love your shows. Don't say we. Don't say we. Thank you, Zachariah. Thank you, Travis. I appreciate that, buddy. Very, very much. Okay. But seriously, I want to talk about that briefly. So I put up a video. Okay. It's not about woke stuff. I promise. I'm so tired of that shit. But think about this for a brief moment. Hello, Alonzi. So I put up this video about my playing Astrobot and why I quit the game. And nowhere in the video did I say it was a bad game. Nowhere in the video did I say the game was too hard. I said, for me, I am not enjoying this kind of more focused platformer. It's got issues for me with depth perception. I don't get a good feeling after I struggle and come through the other side in video games. I don't look for that. I've never been that kind of gamer. That's why I like video games. It was all about, this is my response and what my brain is doing. And in my brain doing these things, this is why I walked away. And I had so many comments, and again, who's to say which ones are trolling and which ones are real, but let's assume even 25% are accurate. And I'm like, but all these comments are like, the game's too hard. Why don't you just admit the game's too fucking hard? Or no, not even that. It's like, you're saying the game's too hard. It's the game's fault. No, it's your fault. It's your fault. I'm like, I didn't say it was the game's fault. Discord said you were playing Astrobot after you posted your I Quit Astrobot video. Yeah, to get the video footage. Alonzi says, Jaffe, if you had the opportunity to modify Astrobot, what would you change? I wouldn't. People love the game. Edge Magazine just gave it a 10 out of 10. I probably would modify, honestly, more of the things that I think are preventing it from being a commercial blockbuster, which it probably deserves to be. But as a game, just because I don't happen to like it doesn't mean it is bad. And nowhere in the video. The reason I'm bringing this up, though, is not to bitch about that, but it's kind of goes back to what we were talking about with media literacy, which is like, if you assume that a meaningful percentage of these people are not trolls, there are enough of them that are in good faith suggesting that I made a video where I said that this game is too hard and it needs to be changed and it's not my fault, it's the game's fault, then it's really worrying, right? And it's not just worrying because it's annoying, it's worrying because you see it with Star Wars Outlaws. You're already seeing it in these comments today with Ghost of Tsushima 2. You may be seeing it in Hex, the new Assassin's Creed, where it's like, if Pactor and people like Pactor are right, you may be seeing game companies being silenced, in essence, or having their art have to change, but not because of a real customer backlash, but because people being unable to search for themselves or actually form their own opinion. Because they are just making assumptions about a lot of these things where it is easily proved that what they're saying, they don't have to like it, the game. They don't have to like the character. But what they're saying is simply not true. And they're just parroting people who are making money off of rage. And in that, you're literally affecting the art form. I think that's worrisome that I can't put out a video where I edited it to an inch of its life to really make sure I was clear. And now I continue to build amongst some people a reputation that, oh, Jaffe's said Astrobot's too hard and it's bad and it needs to change. I'm like, I never said that. And I don't care that people think I said that so much as I care about what the fuck? How are we going to, I mean, this is video games, but you guys know this goes into politics. You know, this goes into things that ultimately lead to people being mean to each other in the real world. I mean, where did this start? Where did, I blame fucking the septic sauce. I blame Gaz. Been a goddamn member 31 months. Says, get good, Jaffe. I'll tell you what, Gaz, if you guys don't watch Gaz's show, I was very surprised the other day when I saw you had Paris on that show. Now, I've never talked to Paris. He's a video game commentator, and he's on Kind of Funny sometimes. Hello, Jojo D. I never talked to the man. I always got the sense he probably wouldn't like me. He seems very much like the male Andrea Renee, in the sense that he seems like, hey, I'm here to play the game and make the ducats, and I don't want to color outside the lines. And that's fine. Nothing wrong with that. That's how a lot of people make a lot of good money in this business. But I just get the sense he's that kind of guy. But anyway, he's on Gaz's show, and some guy on is all drama. Is the Round Table podcast, or one of those guys I've had shit with before, really apparently insulted his wife, and then he's like, we'll settle this in real life, is what Paris says. And I'm like, holy shit, Paris is a big dude. Paris is a big fucking dude, and Gaz is probably just sitting there going, this is excellent. Excellent. All of my money is coming in. But Gaz owns it, right? Gaz owns that shit. Gaz is like, this is what you get. This is what you get. But some people like really out there trying to tell you this shit's real. I mean, seriously, the thing I just read to you guys about the goddamn Assassin's Creed Hex, and you don't think that sounds cool? A bunch of lesbian witches in the Salem witch trials forming a coven and kicking ass out of these fucking ultra puritanical fucks? Come on now. Gaz says he was masturbating in silence. I believe you. I believe you. Golf Franchise says, just make cool characters and not try to check off political correctness box. It really rarely works that way. It does work that way in some cases. Like if you look at Dustborn, they'll tell you that's what they were trying to do. But man, I mean, every Tristan says, the gayest Assassin's Creed ever. It has me more excited for Assassin's Creed for the first time forever. You know, everything has an agenda. Everything is a checkbox. You're just not aware of it, you know? It's just you happen to like certain checkboxes being ticked off and other ones you don't, and that's fine. But, you know, it's just own it for that. Lesbian Witches says Max sounds cool, but it doesn't sound like AC. What is AC anymore? I mean, seriously, you know, it's different time periods of significant historical disruption, and the Salem witch trials certainly were one, right? I don't understand what that means, Young Snow. I hate that argument. It's not X. Who are you to decide what is X? You got to fill in you got to solve for X because I don't know what you're talking about. I guess what witch in the Salem witch trials would be all agile and combaty. Well, it's, you know, I mean, come on, really? You're gonna hold that particular Assassin's Creed to that kind of historical accuracy, but it was okay in Assassin's Creed Odyssey to have Greek mythological creatures running around? What? What are you talking about? Right? I mean, fucking imagine Scarlet Witch as an assassin and she can do all these weird hexes and shit, man. Just Google, I don't like this site because it's all griftery, but that's the wrong term. It's all rage baitery. That Park Place is where I got it from if you're looking to Google the story. Okay. Valhalla's a good game if you only see it as a Viking simulator, says Reefer. I haven't played it. I played the opening, it was too long, but I hear it's good if you play it in slow, like a novel. Okay. Let's move forward. Let's move forward down the road, shall we? Okay. Here's something we can all agree on. Can we at least find some common ground? You guys know, unless you're like really out there, even if we have political differences, I don't hate you. I like people. People are fucked up and they're awful, but we're all just trying to get through it. We're all just trying to have a good time, aren't we? Come on. Now, you know I'm not here to kick sand in your face. So I'm going to give you a gift. This is amazing. Eric says, man, I do hate people. I hate people's behavior a lot of times, but I think when you really just think about it, we're just trying to, this is hard, man. This is hard shit, you know? This is the AP class that we got put into. Wouldn't surprise me if this is not hell. Sometimes it's hard. Steve says, you like Trump then, huh? I don't like Trump's behavior, but I look at Trump seriously and I go, you're a really sad dude. You're mean, you're spiteful, and that doesn't come out of the womb. It rarely does. That comes from, being raised without a great deal of support and love. And so as a human, I feel for the guy, actually. I mean, imagine what it's like to be in that guy's brain. He must never stop thinking about, how he can, make himself feel good about himself. Because he must feel like shit all the time. But anyway, I mention all this to say, I'm going to give you guys something that we can all agree on, is my point. Now, Japan's a weird fucking country, huh? Right? They're weirdos over there. Fuck those guys. No. Japan's a weird country, and I adore it because of that. And I adore it for a lot of reasons. But listen to this. This is what they're doing this Halloween. It's delightful. I mean, it is delightful, my friends. They have bullet trains. I've taken some of the bullet trains before, go across the countryside. It's beautiful. Most amazing thing about Japan is when you are going through the countryside, it's wild because it looks like Studio Ghibli. Like you'd think, a lot of movies make things romanticized, and I'm not saying it's exactly like that. But it's very close, like some of those sections of the Japanese countryside. But anyway, you're taking bullet trains around up and down the various parts of Japan. And coming up, there is a haunted house bullet train coming up for Halloween. I'm going to show it to you so you know I'm not lying to you. Shinkansen zombie outbreak occurring for first time ever. Haunted bullet train event. It costs you about $300 American. Tokyo to Osaka. There are 2 cars, the 15 car and the 16 car. October 19th, it will be overrun by zombies. Not fucking with you. It's true. They promise the outbreak will be contained to cars 15 and 16. Passengers who are in those cars can look forward to dread the zombies invading their space and looking for tasty brains to feed upon. The people who are making it are also behind haunted house design company, behind Japanese haunted toilet and drive-in haunted houses. I gotta look at those in a minute. They say more than 10 types of zombies will be appearing, including the zombie conductor. There he is right there. Zombie high school sports team and cheer squad. Zombified version of Osaka's tough-talking middle-aged women, the O Battalion, who retain their penchant for flashy fashion, even in death. You're going to have, it says many of the zombies are there because they hunger for delicious human brains, but others will be dancing. There'll be a live zombie orchestra on the train and a live zombie magic show. The entire experience is 2 hours of the approximately 2.5 hour track from Tokyo to Osaka. Yeah, it'll cost you, like I said, $235 for this. I think it sounds fantastic. Why in the world do they not do that here? But let's actually take a look at, let's see what the haunted toilet is. They did this in Japan. What is the haunted toilet all about? Aren't you curious? I am. Click. Come on now. Click. I've been to a drive-in haunted house before. That was cool. But why isn't this opening? Did I crap? Oh, that's why. It contains a link. Okay. Coronavirus leads to the creation of a haunted toilet at a Japanese theme park. Japan loves a good scare, and between summer being the time of ghost stories and Halloween, blah, blah, blah. But it's COVID. Okay. And we don't mean it's a haunted toilet in the sense that somebody threw up in a stall after eating too many churros, but a supernatural entity terrorizes those who enter the restroom. The horror Hanako-san of the toilet attraction is based off the story of Hanako-san, the ghost of a girl said to haunt restrooms in Japan. Usually Hanako's specter is said to inhabit school bathrooms, but she'll soon be taking up residence in one of Lagunasia's restrooms, making her presence felt once you close the stall door. The haunted restroom is blah, 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 with social distancing, blah, blah, blah. I want to know the details. The haunted restroom will be limited to one person at a time, disinfected after each guest session. But what happens? The confinement type attraction puts you in a jet. Now, this is a different one. I want to know what happens in the haunted fucking toilet. It doesn't say, but it does say they have something called a scream coffin. An exercise in truth and advertising, this confinement type attraction puts you into a Japanese-style casket, complete with a window of the sort used to view the deceased at funerals in Japan. The picture suggests you won't be resting in peace just yet, since apparently you'll have a visitor while you're there, unable to flee from the creature inches in front of your face. Look at that. Both attractions will run from October 3rd. Japan, I have to go to Japan for horror. This is fantastic. It's fantastic. Come on. Yeah, while you're shitting, I guess. Your toilet had a ring once. That's right. Yeah, I'm excited. I like the Halloween, fellas. What else we got coming up? What else is happening? I don't want to talk about that. Yeah, first Silent Hill reviews, whatever. We know they're good. Let's see if we've gotten any reviews for... let's see if anything has dropped yet for the Cockadoodie Until Dawn, man. Where's the Until Dawn reviews? How is this acceptable? Until Dawn remake review Metacritic. What do we got, boys? Okay, Until Dawn reviews. That's the original. No one has put a goddamn review out of this thing yet. Do I see anything on Black Ops 6? What do you mean? Black Ops 6 is not coming out until later in the month, right? Should there be any new news on Black Ops 6 right now? I did see that Black Ops 6 is now being advertised by Xbox for day one Game Pass, which I did hear that they weren't allowed to do that. I had that confirmed to me by COG and Michael Pachter, but apparently their answer is go fuck yourself, because there's an ad out today saying that it's day one Game Pass. So I don't get it. But Black Ops 6 looks great, and the demo is fantastic, and I'm very excited to play it. So, all right, let's get to some more video game discussion, shall we? I got stuff prepped for you guys. Come on, I'm not a baby. Before I do that, though, I do want to say this, seriously. Dun 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 dun. There is no show called Gabbin' and Games without the amazing support of the God of War members: Eddie Torres, Zack Procrastinates, Swapfire, Lutron. Rotten Tanuki is no longer a member at that level, but we love him and we love his Day One Patch Kids. And Rock's Heart, Vendetta. We also have some new ones, but they'll be on in the in a week. I only update this once a month, so. But thank you, fellas. Milkmaster says, Jaffe, would you press a button that takes you back to 12 years ago? I think about that sometimes. Not 12 years specifically. 12 years ago would be. What are we now? 2024. So 2012. Well, my dad would be alive. So sure. But I mean, then the question becomes, if you push a button that takes you back that far, does everything reset, right? Do all the lessons my kids learned, and am I literally just going back, boom, instant? Or am I going back with my knowledge and guarantees that certain things will change, but certain things won't? I don't know. But if I had my current knowledge, yeah, why not? Sure. I mean, I don't think sometimes the most successful people in life haven't been given that advantage. Whether it's like in some of those movies where they die and they come back to life and in reincarnation, but they've been capable of remembering stuff. I think having kind of a cheat sheet to life is pretty good. And so, yeah, I would go back with that. There's a lot I would do different. Absolutely. Eric says, Jaffe, what do you think about Raf Grassetti saying they put their most effort in the first half of the game because most people don't go beyond that? I mean, I think it's smart. I never thought of it that way. I always, you guys who watch the channel know that I have always been about making sure you open the game with something compelling. But I've always hoped people would see everything, and I've tried, even though I failed a lot, to tune the games as such. But yeah, I mean, if you have to choose where to put your time, there are a lot less intelligent ways to do it than what Raph is suggesting, because he's right. He's absolutely right. Compelling is definitely important from the get-go. The Uncharted 2 opening comes to mind. Yeah, says Tristan. I agree. All right, Milkmaster, good to see you today, buddy. Be well, be safe. Enjoy the rest of your day, my friend. Hang on. Yeah. You know what? I'm going to tell you what the reviews are for Edge magazine that just came out. I can't show it to you. I could, but I won't get in trouble. But that's not nice to do. It's a brand new magazine. But just to prove it, there you go. See, I subscribe to it. I get the digital. It's a good magazine. They give Astrobot a 10. Now, here's what I do with this stuff. I only read the last paragraph of most reviews. Why do I need anything else? I need the score and the last paragraph. Here's what he says. It helps some of the lost bots and puzzle pieces you're hunting are cleverly tucked away, asking you to poke around boundaries Astrobot, while arriving at the destination is all but a foregone conclusion, they think the game's too easy. The pleasure is in getting there, a journey that never stops, serving up extraordinary moments, sequences, and details. Ultimately, it's almost a footnote that this is an ode to PlayStation, and yes, the primary justification to own a PS5. Take away the branding, and there remains a core of irrepressible imagination, the fuel of so many great games that is anything but robotic, and they give it a 10. I don't agree with that. I think if you take away the branding, it's fine. It's solid. But I don't think it's a classic at all. It's good. It's really well made. Legend of Zelda, Echoes of Wisdom, they gave a 9. Cool. Frostpunk 2, they gave a 9. Star Wars Outlaws, they gave it a 7, which is my game of the year. It says, but let's see what they say, because I probably will agree with the criticisms. I think if it wasn't for Star Wars, I would agree it's probably a 7. It says, some early force stealth aside, the game is well structured and welcoming. The benefits and drawbacks of allying with factions feels dynamic and meaningful, and there's a genuine thrill as your team begins to swell in size and ability. It's in the intimate details the game falters. I agree. On the ground, there is a persistent coarseness that invites unflattering comparisons, both with the open world games Outlaws is up against and Massive's own previous work. The sights and sounds of the Star Wars universe, delivered with enthusiasm and authenticity throughout, at least make it easy enough to be swept along. I agree, 100%. Yes. But again, look at Doomslayer. Look at Doomslayer's stupid little emoticons. He says Star Wars Outlaws is your game of the year, and then he's got this like, what? It's like, yes, this is the problem. Have you played it, Doomslayer? And even if you have, I'm not allowed an opinion. I love it. And I've explained why I loved it. And I've also explained, not that I owe anyone these explanations, but I'm happy to give them. I've explained that if you're not into early Star Wars, then you probably won't have the same love for it. Just like if you're not, into PlayStation, early days of PlayStation, you're probably not going to love Astrobot as much. But I fucking adore that game. Jaffe likes games where you can punch a battalion of armed men in the helmet and not die. Again, you're not wrong though. I know a lot of people complain about that, but there's so much crazy shit you do in video games that, yeah, forgive me if this woman can go up and punch somebody in the head who's wearing a helmet and they get knocked out. I don't know. Didn't bother me. I haven't played Survivor yet. I did play the other one, which I enjoyed very, very much. But there's no doubt that those games are better moment-to-moment experiences. But the overall experience of being in the Star Wars universe, I think, is much better captured with Outlaws. Vitaphone says, would you say it's the game of the year is in the actual best of the year or your favorite game to play? Well, yeah, he says, I think you're arguing for your favorite game to play, which seems to miss people. Well, that's why I said earlier, you've got to define what you mean by game of the year. Hello, she's my kind of crazy. Good to see you, bud. Thank you for that. If you were to ask me, Jaffe, what games so far have you played this year that you feel moves the medium as an art form forward? Okay, that would not be Star Wars Outlaws, but you have to define what you mean by game of the year. Right? I mean, and that's not a bad definition for game of the year. Just like there are some movies that are my favorite movies of the year, but I wouldn't say by the definition of Oscars, which is, does the Oscar represent the art form in its most vibrant and future forward looking and innovative? No, probably my most favorite movie of the year is not that, right? So, Jaffe, did you have a hard time choosing a name for your kid? No. I got to pick the middle names, but I honestly, names are just they'll hell, my son changed his name. I don't care. It's just a fucking name. So no, I didn't give a shit. The only thing I can tell you about naming kids is, hello, Kevy. The only thing I can tell you about naming kids is, there was a time where I was like, I'm going to name them all like about my shit, right? We were going to name one Karma and Dharma and Rain. And then I'm like, you know what? That's all about me. That's not about them. That's about, look at me as a dad. Aren't I woke? Aren't I liberal? Aren't I spiritual? Aren't I woo-woo? Because these are, and then I'm like, I don't care. And so we actually picked names for them that were meaningful to us, middle names and first names, but it wasn't an ego thing. It was just like, oh yeah, that'll work. But I'll give you the middle names. My daughter's middle name is Anne, and that's mostly based off Anne of Green Gables, because me and my ex just absolutely loved that character and how feisty she was. And then my son's middle name remains May, M-E-I, which we based off. There's a lot of Mays in our family, but it was as much about that as it was about Mako from My Neighbor Totoro. So, okay. Plucky Squire, they gave a 7, which I would agree. I think there's a lot of great imagination in it, but the moment-to-moment gameplay is good, but not amazing. Warhammer Space Marine. This one's got people upset, though. This one has got some people upset. They only gave this a 6. They said 40K fans know that one of the cornerstones of the hobby is being able to make everything your own. Pick which Space Marine chapter colors to paint your little guys with, or make up a color of your own. Operations let you do that, hinting at greater possibilities. Blah, blah, blah. But since none of that is found in the campaign, solo players are left wondering what happened over. I don't know if that's their main complaint, but they gave it a 6 and people aren't happy about that. A lot of people love that game. Anything else that's worth? I'm stunned they gave Wild Bastards a 9. I mean, I only played the demo, but I was good after that. So anyway, Grape King says it's my game of the year. A lot of people say that. I think Bukaki thinks it's his game of the year. I could be wrong, but I know he mentioned something about it. Listen to this though. Whatever you think of Kotaku, and I know a lot of you guys, perhaps in some ways rightly so, but not always, have a negative opinion of these folks, but they have an article out. 8 awesomely absurd games to play when you're done with Lollipop Chainsaw. Now, whatever. I don't care about the article so much. It's fine. But I gotta read this description to you about, and I hear the game is great. I know some of you guys have played Corey, Cuddly Carnage, which is about a cat and a skateboard and it's violent, blah, blah, blah. And I played the demo ages ago and I loved it. Thought it was excellent. But I need to play the final, but and they're saying it's a great game, and a lot of people have played it, says it's a great game. So, but this is great. This line, Corey Cuddly Carnage should be the most irritating thing in the universe, they write. It's a game that thinks it's hilarious that the talking skateboard can actually swear, where cute little unicorns twist and contort into the kind of fleshy, toothy, tentacled abominations only Kurt Russell is equipped to deal with. It's like if you let American McGee, here's the line, it's like if you let American McGee make Stray in 2003 and all the funding came from Spike TV. That's the best video game criticism of the year. But he says, though, somehow, despite how it sounds, it is this year's buried treasure of a game. Maybe the closest actual kin to what Suda51 and James Gunn were going for in Lollipop Chainsaw. It's a game where an entire race of sentient super toys go full Skynet and wipe out the human race, and our only hopes are on Gory, the last surviving super pet, and his sentient skateboard, skating and grinding across what's left of neon bright future Earth. So, there you go. And like I said, the demo was great, and people who have played the game say it's really, really good. And the demo was not a fluke. It's reflective of the final title. So I'm excited. Jojo D says 12 days until the console of Squirrel with a Gun. I was going to get that, Joe, and Joe kind of turned me on to that game, but then I heard it was really good, really fun, and then it kind of wears out its welcome very, very quickly. So I kind of walked away from it, but still. Okay. Where is... I want to see if there's any breaking news yet. Am I going to play Sparking Zero? Is that the... the Dragon Ball thing? What kind of game is it? Is it just another fighting game or what? Speaking of Star Wars Outlaws, though, to give them their due, they just put out a big patch for it. Improved animation, scaled AI reactions to environmental actions. Quick throw button for grenades. That's good. Reduced detection chances when using cover. Improved speeder controls. Added a tutorial reminder for the blaster stun. So they're working on it, man. It really is a game that I do recommend you try. And listen, even if you don't try it right now, this is a game that, sooner than later, if it's not on deep discount, try it on PlayStation Trials. The PlayStation Trials thing, if you have PS Plus, are really something you don't hear a lot of folks talking about, but they're really great, man. You get 3 to 6 hours of a game. The price for the Diablo expansion is nuts. How much are they charging for that? I don't know. Shattered Space, I think, is finally working on GeForce, so I will be playing it later this week and talking about it. I can only play it on Xbox right now, and I don't like playing this game with a controller, and it doesn't support keyboard on Xbox, so I'm not upset, Brad. Did you play Goku, not Gory? I don't really vibe with Dragon Ball, but I'm not opposed to it. Okay, it's a 3D fighting game, says Doom. Let me look that up. Are you saying it's like you can run around the level and shit? What's it called? Dragon Ball Sparking. So it's more of a brawler, like what's that thing? Power Stone is what you're talking about. You're gonna play Steven Spielberg's kids game, Max's game. Not unless it gets good reviews, because what they showed at Keighley's show looks fine, but there was nothing about it that really looked. Where's the gameplay, man? Here we go. Let's see. Let me just put gameplay. There was nothing about it that blew my mind. Like, oh my god. Okay, here's 21 minutes of it. So I don't know. Let's take a look. How much are they charging for the DLC for Diablo? So you can, how big are the arenas? Are they really big? $40 for Diablo. We'll see. I did not play the Mickey Mouse game I played the demo on Steam. I didn't play it on GeForce Now, but I liked it, but I'm not spending $60 on it. Are these levels bigger than this, or you probably don't want them to be, right? Where's my mouse? Here it is. Okay, so it's 3D in that you can move around, and they're destructible. I mean, it looks cool. How hard is it? Like, is it more like Mortal Kombat, or is it more really fucking deep, or is it a little bit more casual? Because if it's a little bit more casual and a lot of people are playing it, I'll definitely get this game. Because I dig this kind of motion, and the powers look cool. Okay, it's like Smash. Oh, really? The game looks great on my screen, so it's probably the stream. I'm sorry about that. Okay, well, cool. When is this out? Is this out today? Is this out now? It looks fun. And what are the reviews like on it? And it's way easier than Smash, says Brad. Okay, cool. It's out next week. Yeah, I'll keep an eye on it. I was aware of it, but I wasn't, it wasn't something that I was thinking about picking up, but now maybe I will. Let's see what else we got going on in the world of the video games. Dan. Oh, that's anime. 8. Okay. Let's see, some Tekken shit, Horizon Adventures. I'll be talking about that on the proper show later today or tomorrow. Throne and Liberty. I liked what I played, but I got too many fucking things. Your Descent into Abyss. Okay, what is this? Kill Knight is out. I think I've seen this. It's on my wish list. What is this? This comes out today. Is this something we should play? Is this something we're excited about? Let's watch the trailer, as pals do. No, I don't need all this preamble. Just show me the gameplay. Huh. Is it bullet hell though? I don't like bullet hell. It's okay, says awesome. Okay, fuck it then. I don't have time for just okay. I need more. There's too much to play. Let's see what else we got. What's this? Get Saw. Oh, Saw. Okay. Disney removes Indiana Jones. Why? The fuck's the matter with you people? Last year, why would you remove them, you fucking moron? Oh my god. Oh god. I'm so tired of these idiots. You own the rights to it, man. I think. Maybe they don't. I don't know. Yeah, maybe that's all the big news we got today. I'll tell you what, I'm playing this game right now called Mouthwash, man. And it's weird and creepy and strange and interesting. I dig it. I have Paramount. It's weird that they moved it over there, but Paramount owns the license, or they have the rights to the license for a certain amount of time, is what I would be curious about. They do own the rights to Indy 1 through 4. They may not own the rights to distribute those particular movies, but Disney owns the intellectual property rights to those. So if they wanted to make Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom 2, they could, but they may not own the ability to put it out in the world. The originals is what I would say. Look at this real quick, though. Somebody's talking about Beyond Shadowgate. This was funny to me. It says, Shadowgate Beyond, or you're saying Beyond Shadowgate. You should try Shadowgate Beyond, says Tatum, just like the NES. It's a sequel. This was funny, though. It says Beyond. This is, I think, one of the creators, the designer, wrote this and said, here's some Beyond Shadowgate facts. No layoffs or closures during Dev release. No microtransactions. Fully playable day one. DRM free. Internet connection not needed. Responsive dev team in Discord. We do it for the players. Yeah, okay, but you're making a game that I could fund with what I spend yearly on my New York Times subscription. And I'm not saying that's bad. You guys know I'm a big indie game fan. I love one-man band games. But to post this as if we're doing it right, like we're the good guys. It's like, yeah, but you don't have any of the same, issues that these mega $400 million companies are spending. So best to just say nothing and make yourself not look like a moron. But that said, though, I do hear this is good. I do hear this is a good game. Do you think video game reviewers score games too highly, says Brian? I guess it would depend on the reviewer, right? Okay, so wait, you're telling me that Jaffe, did you hear, says Lutron, about the Sony execs not being happy with the new Ghost trailer response? Kind of a bummer. I mean, really? If I'm Sony, just don't worry about it. Let me see. Ghost trailer Sony exec. I mean, I haven't heard about this, so I want to see where you're getting your data from. Sony execs furious over woke ghost of Yoti. Oh, it's the same guy. Where's the real? Where's the actual news? Okay, well, I'll look at this one, even though because he's the only person reporting it. A new rumor claims that Sony execs are seemingly not happy with the response to the announcement for Ghost of Yoti. I don't know how to say it. Shut up. And a number of devs were blindsided by the new female character. I'm pretty sure if you're working on the game, you know who your main character is. YouTuber blah blah shared this info from an alleged insider saying apparently Ghost of Yoti blindsided many people that were working at Sony who were not made aware of what Sucker Punch was making. Really? He added, and that people in the mid-levels at Sony were actually confused when Yoti was announced because they were under the impression Jin Sakai would be getting a sequel. And they are not happy at all when it comes to the response either internally at Sony right now. The game received mixed reactions. Oh, God. Again, man, here's what I'll tell you. Now. This all may be true. It all may be true. I don't know. I have no idea how their responses are at Sony. But let's, for the moment, for this conversation, let's assume it's absolutely accurate that Sony is worried because they think putting a female character in this game, they're kind of seeing the writing on the wall. Maybe the people who have been saying all this time, and I don't believe it, but go woke, go broke. And putting a female character is a bridge too far in the world of woke, I suppose. Okay. Let's assume it's real, though, just for the sake of fun. Let's assume it's real.
No offense, David Jaffe, but that's bullshit.
Okay, it probably is. And I agree this is a hate click site. But let's assume it's real, though. Let's assume Pachter was right. Think about that, man. That's where we are in this art form, in this business. That in order to sell titles at this financial investment, you have to basically play to people who are bothered by one of the best developers and consistent developers in the business. All they're doing is saying, hey, there's a girl in the thing as the main character. Think about that. Think about how fucked we are. And it goes back to what I think Jonathan had brought up earlier. It's like at this point, once you're spending this much money, just let you make your own character. Make it a girl, make it a man, make it a non-binary, whatever you want to. I like how this is the most ironic quote of the day. Here, who gets it? Who gets the most ironic quote of the day? It goes to Ninja Squirrel 30. You have earned the most ironic quote of the day, sir. He says, alpha males for the win. Sir, alpha males, if you're really the alpha male, nothing in your world is going to shake you. Certainly not a great video game that happens to star a woman as a kick-ass protagonist. If you're really an alpha male, you're off to the fucking races anyway. Your enjoyment of a piece of art is not built on the bones of if your main character has a vagina or not. In fact, one could argue if you're a true alpha male, that's not even true because alpha male doesn't even mean straight male. But there is an argument to be made that most people are straight. And in that, most men are straight. And most men probably that are straight are probably more interested in watching the ladies step into the hot springs than Jin Sky. But that said, though, I agree with Chris. Actual alphas could give a shit. Please don't think you're alpha. I mean, allow your go woke, go broke brigade to walk all over the art form if you want. Or allow your disdain and dislike for women in leading roles to keep people from purchasing the game. But let's not mistake that for a position of an alpha. That's the position of someone who is stunted in their development and growth, is what I would say. So don't own that. Don't wrap yourself in a cloak of honor. You should be ashamed of yourself. I don't mean that like, I mean, you should be, when the lights go off and you're at home alone, which you probably often are, you should be ashamed of yourself. Like, God, I'm not good. I'm not good. In essence, alpha represents obsolescence and being replaced by a successor. I don't know what that means. I do, but I don't understand the context. If the game had a mega sexy female, no one would be complaining. These people are fine with the character they can jerk off to, but not a normal looking woman. It's fucking stupid, says Jarvie. This game looks great. Yeah, it looks great. And again, if the game, I'll give you, granted, if the game comes out and it's basically, Ghost Tsushima meets the Dustborn game, okay. That's, I got nothing against the Dustborn game, but I can understand you're like, what the fuck, Sony? But that's not what's happening. That's not this. That's not this. Okay, Dead says Jin Sakai's story had a lot of potential for a sequel. Him going against a shogunate. Come on, that sounds pretty cool. Maybe it does. But again, like I said, you see how upset a lot of people are when it comes to the changes in aspects of Assassin's Creed Shadows. Whether they really are upset or not is TBD. But they're like, oh, it's not accurate. We hate it. We're mad. Okay, so then you put Sucker Punch in a bit of a pickle, right? Because they clearly wanted to move the location to a place that was visually different so you could have new places to explore. Visually new places. I don't mean just like different names, but different biomes, as the kids call them. Maybe that's not historically accurate on Tsushima to have the snowy landscapes and this, that, and the other. I don't fucking know. But I'm with Brian. He says, I trust Sucker Punch. They've never made a bad game. I mean, seriously. When does this stop? When do you guys, I mean, does it even matter? Does it matter how, like, if there's a band you like and you've loved the last 3 albums, don't they get any credit in the bank, even if you hear about a new album that might not be what you want? I mean, aren't you going to at least give it a chance because of what they've earned in entertaining you over the decades? What's wrong with you? It's just too bad these companies decide to go woke and therefore broke, says Buka. I know. All right, fellas, look, that's the show for today. That is Gabbin' and Games Live. I will be putting up a proper Gabbin' and Games, meaning it's just me talking about, more in-depth stuff. I want to talk about Slitterhead. There's some interesting stuff on that. I want to spend a little bit more time really diving into what's it called? Shattered Space. I wanted to show you guys this. I'll save this for tomorrow, though. There's some good stuff I saved. So I'll be back tomorrow, roughly around the same time, with Gabbin' Games Live. I'm going to try to do these Monday through Friday. Who knows? But these are more loose shows. So hopefully you guys enjoy them. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you guys supporting them. Thank you for being members. Thank you for subscribing, considering a membership. Watching all the other content. I sure do appreciate it, fellas. In the meantime, though, that's the show. Enjoy the rest of your, Thursday? And I'll see you guys real soon. Thanks, everybody. Have a good rest of your day. Bye. Oh, and Bukaki. Thank you, Bukaki. There you go. You goddamn right.